Amsterdam Whitney Gallery. Allow me to introduce to you the Florida artist Ronnie, Lynn, Doppelt. And if you see a magical glow in the gallery, it's because Ronnie's Magical Glow series in red, blue, green, and yellow is being featured. And Ronnie also has an additional magical glow, her beautiful daughter, or shall I say her twin. We are thrilled to have Ronnie Lynn's abstract work, which radiates a beautiful positive energy with vibrant holiday colors. And may I just pass the microphone to Ronnie Lynn, who could tell you a little bit about her work.
These are my magical blue, magical red, magical green and yellow paintings, and I did them especially for the holiday season, all the colors of the holiday season, and New Year's with the yellow one behind. And when I look in the sky, I see these formations, and so that's how I created these paintings. Normally, when I'm outside and I look at nature, and I see the sky and the grass and beautiful color flowers, that's how I usually create my colors in my paintings. Bright, bold colors. And I'm delighted to have my daughter Stephanie here with me, who is also an unbelievable artist. And Stephanie?
Hi. We're actually 3 generations of art, but we're missing one who was here last time, my grandfather. But I'm so proud of my mom. It's ironic that it's called a glow because, as everyone knows, my mom glows wherever she goes. We both love bright colors and traveling, so this represents a lot of the skies and pictures that she sees, like in planes, and this is Christmas colors, New Year's, and Hanukkah, so it represents everybody. So I'm really proud and excited to be here, and I love her.
And Stephanie, I love you. And Craig also traveled with us from Florida, my son-in-law, and I'm so happy he's with us here today as well. And happy holidays, everybody.
And we're really 2.5.
And we're so happy and thrilled to be here.
With us is Phyllis Shipley, all the way from Florida. Welcome, Phyllis.
Thank you. Happy to be here. It's always thrilling to talk about my babies because they come from my heart and my head. When I start to paint, I have no idea what I'm going to paint. So it folds, I call them my inner visions, and each one has a story. That one is called Memory Whispers, and it started out with the lady's eyes, and her memories came out of her head in the forms of flowers. So in each of the flowers, there is a little memory painted inside that flower.
That's original. And right behind us.
Yeah, this one is called Twilight Interlude. And at the end of the day, we always enjoy having a glass of wine or something to calm down, whether we're at home or we're out on a sailboat enjoying the moonlight.
That sounds good. I could use one right now.
Yeah.
And as we move on.
Okay, this one is called The Toast. And in all of my paintings, you usually find some little hidden pieces. Like at the end of the day or wherever you are, you have a toast to your friends, toast to your family, and you're in music. And I have the treble clef in there with some musicians. So it's just including the keyboard because I've been in music all my life, and so I incorporate that into my paintings a lot.
It's very festive, and it's the holidays here.
Yeah, I know.
And then we have one last one.
The last one is called the Jazz Club. And when I came to Florida, after my husband had passed, I knew that I had to make a new life. So I went with some singles groups, and we would go to the jazz clubs, very nice areas, and and I met all kinds of great people. So this is a tribute to them.
A wonderful, as I said, colorful, festive artwork.
Thank you. Everybody be happy.
Everyone be happy. Happy holidays. With this Christian Bakker, all the way from Ecuador. Welcome to New York City. And you have 3 paintings here. Could you tell me what you paint or your inspiration, philosophy?
Sure, thank you very much. I'm so thrilled to be in New York. This is the 3rd time this year that I'm in Manhattan. And what inspires me is love, I try to share the love that I feel in my heart with the world through the different movements and colors that I have in my paintings. So hopefully in these seasons, holidays, add a little more happiness and joyful for all of them.
Now, right behind us to the left, we have a lot of green and red and yellow. Tell me about that color scheme.
Every time I paint, I'm in front of the white canvas, and I try to just go into my heart, and when it comes out, I don't think much about it. It's just that day I felt to choose all these colors. Maybe I was so happy, and all the movements, the short movements with different colors to try to really light up the painting. And I stop when I feel that it's done and it's telling what I want. Basically, happiness, joyfulness, and love.
And right here. Now this is a little different because it's not quite as with as many colors.
Yes.
It seems. Tell me, what type of mood were you in that day?
Well, that's a great question. I think I was more mellow, at peace. I live in the mountains in Ecuador. I was looking at the valley and the snow-capped mountains, and I was in peace with tranquility, very peaceful. And so the colors are more soft, and the movements are also softer. And so I believe that that's what happened at the time.
And the last piece.
Oh, the last piece, I was also very happy. You will see, it's full of color. I was happy, and I was making these lines with red and yellow, and I was joyful. It was like I was in a party. My heart was in a party. So hopefully you can see that when you see my paintings and in my website too.
Well, welcome to New York, and thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Stay happy and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
We are delighted to celebrate the holiday season with $1 Million Penny Chiusano. Penny Chiusano used to be $1 Million Penny. She is now $1 Billion Penny because she's so loved, and she features fabulous feminist art, and her new series is entitled Me Too, The Bosom Revolution. Penny, would you just like to say hello?
Hello, everybody.
Penny's art is whimsical, it's droll, it's mixed media, watercolor, and Penny has a wry, lyrical attitude about women's position. She features domestic divas.
Oh, yeah.
She calls them her domestic goddesses, and it's a very gentle twist on the Me Too movement. Penny behind me, you can see two versions of the female right behind me, and behind Penny, who in other days was a airline stewardess.
Not a flight attendant. In those days, we were airline stewardess, and when I went to airline stewardess school, we graduated as hostesses. Yes, and in those days, they checked us to be sure we were wearing a bra and a girdle. So as soon as I retired from the airlines, I took off my bra, burned it on Fifth Avenue in the early 70s, and with this Me Too movement, I realized that not only is it about the women in the workplace, it's about women in general taking their own comfort and taking responsibility for their own selves. So with that, I gave a little bit of humor to the holiday season.
And that's brilliant, and that's what makes Penelope Chiusano's work so unique, and with a very unique artistic vision, because she takes our feminist movement and the Me Too bosom revolution with a wry twist, with a little hidden subtext. She has lettering and text in all of her work, so we have to read it and look at it carefully. It's in delicate hues, very subdued palette, but when you look at it, it packs a punch.
It does.
It does. And so allow me to welcome and introduce the outstanding $1 billion Penelope Shahzada.
With us all the way from Canada, Veronique Ducey, whose paintings are behind me, and they seem very detailed and colorful. Tell me about your work.
It's a process. I started teaching at the college, and I think life was going too fast, so I wanted to slow down time. So I start running and walking and take picture of waste and pollution. And then I print it in large scale. That way I can transform negativity to positivity. And I make an object of consciousness. So it's important to me to start with a photography, a picture of pollution, and then put visual languages like painting and also watercolor over it to make a beauty of it.
And you brought, how many paintings are here today?
4 paintings.
4 paintings. Now this one right over here in the corner, the small one.
The small one, it's more like I took a picture on the dish. You know, I was walking in the, and I stopped and take picture, and then it's important to me, like I said, to put it's very colorful, very happy, because I think in the world, so many negativity. So it's important to me to be able to transform the negativity and positivity. So that's why it's very aesthetic, but it's very colorful. I think it's, I don't know, make object of beauty.
And behind us?
Behind us, I also like to use human artifact culture, like a waste of, it was a paper against dandelion. So I took the picture, and I like to, it's, like I said, I like to oppose artifact culture, that's human waste, and artifact nature, like dandelion, and put them together. And then after that, same with painting and watercolor, add it to the painting or to the picture. So I can transform the negative, like pollution, to a beauty, like what you see, you know?
Behind me is a wonderful exhibit of Neal Kerman, who is a New York, Brooklyn-based artist, but is also truly international. Neal Kerman exhibits globally in Asia, Korea, Italy, France, Switzerland, Sao Paulo, Brazil. We are thrilled to feature Neal Kerman's abstract work at Amsterdam Whitney Gallery. And Kristal, I have a very, very charming anecdote to tell you about Neal Kerman. 2 days ago, a collector was here from Sweden, and he was fascinated by Neal Kerman's painting right behind me. And I asked him, what entices you and what attracts you to Neal Kerman? And he said, you know, I'm colorblind. He said, many men are colorblind. But he said, however, I can see the colors of Neal Kerman. They jump out at me. They're so vibrant, they're so vital. And he said, and I can feel his color energy, which I thought was fascinating. So we're thrilled to introduce the wonderful abstract work of Neal Kerman. And thank you again, Kristal. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
All the way from Ireland, Dr. Paul Hartel. Paul, welcome to New York City. And tell me a little bit about what you paint and why, and a little bit about this exposition.
I tend to start with a blank canvas and put paint onto it and see how it develops. And something always comes from what I like to call a spontaneous, viscerative energy. And these pieces were created in that fashion. And the story develops from nothing, ultimately, and this is the result. Well, the top painting is called Old Dublin City Window, and it's what I imagine someone might have seen from inside one of the old tenement houses in Dublin as they looked out onto the street. And there's probably a variety of figures that the viewer can imagine are present, and I think they're probably correct in that.
And then underneath it?
Underneath is called the crowning, and that is a perfect example of the process I like to use, which is that spontaneous development of an image, and that came just as the paint was applied, and it appears to be a coronation, if you will. It appears to be a queen gliding across her coronation carpet after being recognized as royalty, and that's the image in that painting. Well, this painting is perhaps a bit more involved. There's a lot more variety of paints. There's oils, acrylics, charcoals, pastels, and I think this is probably truly reflective of one of my favorite abstract painters, which is Willem de Kooning. And this painting, I think, reflects his process, which is to apply the paint to the canvas and hope for the best. That painting is called Whisper. It's a much calmer, simpler painting. I think you can recognize simple shapes, simple colors that a child might use or find appealing. And that's another aspect of my painting that I like to employ, which is a childlike freedom and simplicity with colors and lines and forms. New York City is my true home and my true love, and that's Conservatory Water Central Park, and I think that speaks for itself. And the last two, Bird with Woman was inspired by St. Stephen's Green in Dublin, and there's a lot of women and a lot of birds there, and that was one that perhaps I captured. And the bottom one, still relevant. I imagine myself as I age and become older and more frail, as we all do, that I, as all older people are, with their wisdom, their experience, and the joy they can bring us all, still relevant.
I love painting, and when I am in New York, I have a lot of energy, and when I come back to Paris, it's very, very good for me.
So you pick up on all the energy here in New York and you take it back to Paris and paint?
Yes, but I would love to live in New York.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, this first one behind us, it looks, tell me about...
That's New York.
I thought maybe it was. I wanted to make sure.
When I came the last time, 4 years ago, when I went back to Paris, I paint this blue building. I feel like it. And I love, because I always feel like seeing the sky. So I love it. I love it.
Oh. And this one right here.
And this one, it's another way of painting. It's a gold leaf, and it's the soul. It's when we die, we leave our body, but our soul is going back where she must go. So that's the way.
And then we have a last one over here with a lot of reds, and it also looks like some gold leaf.
It's at the same time when I came back from New York, I had this feeling to paint, I don't know, transcendence. And this series is called Encens. It's like, somebody said it's like building, but it's Encens. So it's the way of the light, I think.
All the way from Louisiana, Carroll Creel. And your work behind me, tell me, I see it looks like a lot of vases and...
It is. It's transparent watercolor. And I like doing a lot of glass, cut glass, because of the reflective surface. So it's very dramatic. Mm-hmm.
You have, what, four
pieces?
Pieces?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about this one now you have right behind us.
The one that we have here I call Game Night, because it has pawns and a chessboard and a mask, so it can be very mysterious and very sexy at the same time. A glass of wine. We have a bottle of white wine, a champagne, but we don't know where that person went with the champagne, but the red wine is still there. So it's a very sexy painting without being sexy. Yes. Well, this is just a crystal basket that I've collected over the years, and I filled with marbles, also collected. And I like to put the light on it and make a lot of different reflections and color coming out to make it look really interesting. Because a lot of people just pass over and look at everyday items and don't really pay much attention to them. But I like to bring your attention to small things. Mm-hmm.
And then over the third painting.
The third painting, I call that one Jewel Tones because the piece that's in it, that the marbles are in, look like little jewels because each one is a little triangle and they look like little jewels. And I did the same thing with that I do to all my pieces. I set it up, I put light on it and make sure the colors are in the right places and then photograph it. And then I work from my photographs because the light changes so much that you can't get exactly the same look every time. So since I do very precise work, I like the color looking the same each time. Yeah.
And your last piece?
Oh, perfume bottles, yes. I love perfume bottles. What woman doesn't? It's perfect for the bedroom. And I call that particular painting His and Hers because it has marbles in it for him from his childhood, and it has marbles for the lady. I mean, not marbles, but perfume bottles for the lady so that she can be just as sexy as she wants to be.
Wonderful work. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
And come down to Amsterdam Whitney and see these wonderful pieces.
Yes.
And happy holidays, everyone.
Well, thank you so much. Yes.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays. With us, Leonard Gervits. Welcome. You know, your work behind me, it's very, I see a beach.
Yeah,
I see, tell our audience about
Yeah.
your concepts and why you painted this exhibition.
yes, it's my favorite beach. It's Cooper's Beach in Southampton. And I am painting in Southampton many years, for 20 years. I used to have a gallery there, and every year I spend a lot of time on the beach, and this is my favorite topic, the sea and the ocean and the sky and the clouds. I love them in any weather and in any conditions.
That's very tranquil.
Yeah, thank you. It's I think I'm very very close to the nature when I am painting the landscapes. Actually, I am doing portraiture also, but the landscape is sort of my having a good time in the nature.
And how do you take photographs at all,
I
or do you just?
I never work for photographs. I am trying to contact the nature without any help of anybody or anything else. I'm trying to not having the screen between me and the nature.
And this series is all the beaches.
Yes, I have a lot of these beaches. It's a big series. In this show, it's only 4 of them. I have much more in different conditions and different time of year.
And happy holidays, everyone.
You too. Thank you. Happy holiday to everybody.
And the beach is coming soon.
Yeah, we'll meet on the beach.
With us, Tammy Taylor from Canada, whose paintings are behind me, and I see a lot of nature and animals. So could you tell me your concept on this exhibition?
So I just paint what I know. We're from a rural region in Alberta. We live on a farm and don't have much for neighbors other than a lot of critters. So we have the privilege of being around wildlife all the time, and so that ends up being the basis usually of what I paint. So
this first one right behind us.
So I love the heron. They're such a awkward looking animal, but yet they're so stately and graceful. When they take off, I'm always just totally impressed by their ease and ability to just fly. And so I just wanted to capture their awkwardness in a real graceful manner and try to show how beautiful they are. The ducks? Well, we do a lot of kayaking, me and my kids, and my husband, and so the ducks are always on the lake, and I called that one, I got my ducks in a row. I really don't, but I thought it was a cute title, and I just like how they're all lined up, so.
And then as we move on, now this one I really love because when I'm in Ohio, my brother has a black lab, and I could see our dog like that.
Sleeping like that. So this is actually our family pet, and that's how he sleeps. And I just think that he's the cutest when he's like that. And I wanted to capture that awe factor that it invokes in me every time I see him like that, you know, and you want to go rub his belly. And
my brother's lab, she'll put her legs up and she wants her little belly all the time.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like, bring on the love. So I called that one Doggone Tired.
Doggone Tired?
Doggone Tired, yeah.
And then the last one.
So the last one, we have an abandoned farmhouse beside our place, and we had one year, Mama Fox had 3 kits, and so I would go out in the morning like I'm like the paparazzi out there with my camera stalking them, and they'd be really playful in the morning, but the afternoon they always wanted to sleep, and so I just thought I wanted to capture the just the ease that he was resting there with, and the comfort he had, even though it's not trees. Like I call it by the den, but his den's actually under the house, and so I'm not always sure what draws me to a picture. Usually it's a mood or emotion it captures in me, right, that I want to portray, and so.
And now we're saying goodnight from Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery, the artists.
Leonid Gervits.
Carroll Creel.
Phyllis Shipley.
Paul Hartel.
Penelope Shahzada.
Ronnie, Lynn, Doppelt. Tammy Taylor.
Veronique Ducey.
Bakker.
And the owner,
Ruthie Tucker, and I give our love and thanks to our beautiful Christmas angel, Kristal, Hart, and my fabulous artists. I love you all. God bless you. Good night, everyone. Good night.